Have you ever felt lost, untethered, searching for something more? Welcome to Angelic Footprints, where the spirit meets the road on a journey to self-healing and rediscovery. I'm Dagmar, your host, psychic medium and seasoned traveler. Each week, we'll explore the world of angels and personal transformation. We're going to dive into compelling histories and captivating mythology. You're going to hear remarkable, real-life angel encounters and discover how you too can connect with the angels guiding your path. Whether it's through practical tips, meditation techniques, or stories that resonate deeply, Angelic Footprints is here to light your way. From mystical journeys to profound self-discovery, let's embark on this transformative journey together. Are you ready to find your angelic guide? Then subscribe to Angelic Footprints today and step into a world where angels walk beside you every step of the way. Angels, spirituality, healing. Let's ignite your transformation. Hello and welcome everybody to the Angelic Footprints podcast show. Today we have a very special guest and her name is Kimberly Henry. She is the founder of Million Dollar Memoirs. Now, Kimberly has an interesting history. She was raised by two alcoholic parents and experienced domestic violence at home in upstate New York. At the age of 20, she was pregnant with her daughter, whose father was a drug addict. She was a couple of weeks shy from her 23rd birthday when she chose to be a single parent and left the domestic violence relationship with her daughter's father. She believes in a movement to help others heal from their past trauma. She has presented on 30 plus podcasts as a guest, and she's been a panelist on a number of open panels and a speaker in several different summits. She has started her own podcast called The Kimberly Show on YouTube. Interestingly enough, she is also the recipient of the Purple Ribbon of Courage Award by family and friends of Liza Allen Warner and the 2024 Empowerment Award by YWCA Northeastern New York. Kimberly, welcome. It is such a pleasure to have you here on the show. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Dagmar. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here and excited to be here. And you said it beautifully with my intro, so thank you.
Well, I was just wondering if there was anything else that you would like to share with our listeners, because it's very interesting. And you and I didn't talk about this at the start of the show. I can so relate to the things that we started with in your intro, having myself needing to leave a very difficult relationship, having two young children. And for me, I did not want to be 18, 20 years into a marriage where I was absolutely miserable,
Yeah.
but having to have that trauma that what my children effectively were being subjected to. And I know that the man that I married would never, ever in his wildest dreams agree to me pursuing this kind of path. And when I talk about this kind of path, I know that you have told me yourself that you've had angelic experiences. Please tell me a little bit about this so that our listeners can get the benefit of that.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing with me about your experience. I mean, so many women who can relate. And it's amazing that now we're in this time where, I mean, who would have thought 30 years ago I could be in upstate New York and I'm here in a space with you on the other side of the world? You know, I never would have thought I would be able to relate to another woman on the other side of the world when I was younger.
Well, technology has had many benefits, hasn't
It
it?
has, it has. And as far as angelic experiences, I feel like I've always had some sort of touch with the angelical experience, particularly after my grandmother died. My grandmother basically raised me. She was more of my mom than my grandmom. And she died in 2000. And it was 2 weeks after she died is when I left my daughter's father. And that was because when she died, I didn't know what to do. I knew that she was dying, and at the same time, I was in denial of her dying. Because in my mind, she was always gonna be old when she died. I would always count to, "You're gonna have so many years to live to 100." So she died, and he was just very critical, was not supportive, was not caring, and so 2 weeks after she died, I was like, "What am I doing? Like, I this is not working for me." And so when she died, I had a dream, because it often happens in dreams, which I believe that they do visit us in dreams. That's always like a magical touch for me in dreams. So I had a dream after she died and after I left him because it was very traumatic, even more so leaving him. And in the dream, we always held hands a certain kind of way, like my left on her right. And she always had her mother's ring, which was more like her wedding ring. She didn't really have a wedding ring, and it had all of her children's birthstones on it. And I would always feel that ring on her hand when I held her hand. So in the dream, it was simply her hand holding my hand the way we always held hands. There was no voices, there was no music, there was no interaction. It was simply just holding hands. And I still believe that that was her way of letting me know that all was well, that she was okay, and that I would be okay. Because she was my person that was my safety, my security, my stability. I always felt like I was okay when I was with her. So that was really my first time that I remember having that kind of experience, because I woke up and I was like, wow, it was so touching. Like she was with me. It was like she never died.
That is absolutely so beautiful. And, I know of that experience myself, having had that, but I'm sure you, as well as our listeners, can relate to it doesn't have to be just in the form of a dream.
No.
Sometimes we can smell a
Yeah.
particular perfume or the scent of the cigar smoke
Yeah.
or something like that. We might get a song that comes on the radio and it's so random.
Yeah. One story I have with music is I have a best friend that lives in Germany. And we met in 1993. She was a foreign exchange student that she came here, and somehow I convinced my alcoholic parents, who was raging alcoholics at that point, to let her stay with us for 4 weeks, and they agreed, which I'm super grateful because she's been more like my sister than my sister, you know? So I didn't get to visit her until 2018 because being a single mom, I couldn't take my daughter out of the country without my daughter's father's permission. So we were able to maneuver it. We got approval and we got her passport. So in 2018, I finally get to go to Germany and I finally get to meet her parents in person. I finally get to see her home and their home. And then we took a magnificent trip from Germany and took the train to Italy, where my daughter was, and the Alps just followed us. It was so amazing. We get into Germany, and actually, I got a couple of music stories, but this is like the most that threw me off. So a couple of days went by as I got in there, and she lives near Stuttgart. So we were hanging out in her little village, and we went to a little like plaza mall, and we walked into the mall, and I'm hearing music. And my mom adored Elvis Presley. When I say adored, I used to joke with her that she would have an affair with him in a heartbeat. At one point, when I was a teenager, Elvis was plastered all over the living room wall and the dining room wall. Like Elvis was everywhere when I was a teenager. So I'm in the mall with her, and I'm like, "Oh my God, Petra, there's Elvis playing. What are the chances of me being here in this moment in Germany for the first time, and I'm hearing the song that she loved? It was Suspicious Minds." And that was bizarre. So there was another time where I was going through a really hard time after my mom died in 2013. And I was with my ex, and we were going from store to store shopping on a Sunday. Each and every store that we went into, and this was right after she died, all Elvis songs. in every single store, like 5 stores. Every single store had an Elvis song. By the 5th store, I looked at him, I said, "Now she's just messing with me."
So funny. I mean, come on, mom, come on down. In
Yeah,
case you didn't get the message the first 4 times, here I am now the 5th time, just making sure that you know that I'm right there, right?
exactly, and then the first time I flew to Vegas by myself, I was nervous. It was my first time flying within this country solo, and going from New York to Vegas is a pretty long trip, like a few hours, and so I leave work and I'm driving to the airport, and I'm nervous about going through security, finding a parking spot, my anxiety was up. And Elvis was on the radio. So I'm like, "Oh, okay, like, this is what her telling me, like, I can calm down and everything's gonna be okay." So I text my friends who were already in Vegas, and they were already at the event that I was going to. And I text them and I said, "I'm just getting to the airport." And she wrote me back, "I was just thinking about you because there is 3 men on the stage and they're singing Elvis."
Oh.
And at the same time, Elvis was playing on my car radio. So it was just like, wow. Yeah, my mom has always been with me, always. Like, she died in 2013, and she's the most that she comes into my dreams and music, a lot of Elvis, a lot of different music.
So would you say that your mom is your guardian angel now?
I'd say one of them, definitely. I always feel her with me. I can always feel her presence.
You know, I think your message here, if I'm getting this right, for our listeners is really to pay attention to the signs
Yeah.
that our loved ones bring us because, whether they're our loved ones in spirit or whether you consider them to be our guardian angels, it's that comfort
Yes.
that those signs that come to us, isn't it?
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, my sister and I just had an experience last month. I woke up
Tell
on
us.
a Monday morning and I went to Facebook and I saw a Facebook group, which would be so unusual for me to see something from this Facebook group. I don't interact in it. I kind of just spy in it. So I just don't really do anything. And the first thing I see when I open up Facebook in this group is an obituary. And it was my father's cousin. And it was somebody
Oh.
that I knew of because his older sister, I was with her when she was transitioning in her life in 2022. And she started asking me questions because she was trying to get closure on her life. And she was telling me stories about this cousin because they were more like sisters. They were only a few months apart in age. They lived across the street from each other. They were like best friends when they were going through high school. And then, of course, we're talking, they were both born in 1933. That was the era that when they graduated high school, they were expected to marry, have children, take care of their families. So their lives just separated. She moved to Massachusetts. This cousin stayed here locally. So I see this obituary and I was like, wow. And it didn't occur to me at first that this was my aunt's best friend, but I knew it was my father's cousin. I knew it was their cousin. So I messaged my sister. It's a really random. I don't even know why I would see this obituary, but clearly this is our aunt and dad's cousin. So we both agreed, oh, we should go and pay respects. We go to the church and she wanted to go early. So we get there early. We're sitting outside of the church. She's telling me a story. We're sitting in the car. She's telling me a story about a house across the street. And I'm saying all of this because it was just so random. I'm overstimulated because we're at a church where my grandmother's funeral was. So I'm feeling triggered by grief and emotions because I'm remembering her funeral. I'm attempting to listen to her talk to me about this house because I didn't really care. I had no care whatsoever what she was talking about. And I'm attempting to listen to her. But at the same time, my eyes went to a person coming around the corner from the church. Now it's cold last month. It was very cold winter last month. They hit us with a lot of cold days. This woman comes around the corner of the church. I have no idea where she came from. If she came from inside the church, I don't know. So I see her out of the corner of my eye, and I'm still attempting to listen to my sister tell me about this house. But the woman comes around and she has no winter coat on, no hat, no gloves, no winter gear whatsoever. She's just coming around and she's walking on the street, walking towards my sister's car. And so finally I said to my sister, I don't mean to cut you off. I am really trying to listen to you, but who is this woman? Because she's walking towards your car. And so my sister turns around and I said, I think and I wasn't even scared. This was the whole thing. We're in a neighborhood that's pretty sketchy, that you don't know when something's going to happen, when somebody's going to do something. But I wasn't fearful. I wasn't scared. It was more of, I'm curious, what does she have to say to us? Because she was walking right towards her window. So my sister's like, maybe I should roll down the window. So she rolled down the window, but then the woman had the biggest smile on her face from cheek to cheek, and she waved. So now we're waving. But Dagmar, this woman was a spitting image of everything of my mom.
Wow.
Everything. The energy, the spirit, how she walked, how she smiled, how her wave, everything was my mom. It was like we saw my mom in some other human body.
That is so special.
It was,
Absolutely. So
oh,
special.
it gives me goosebumps still talking about it because I was so confused. I was just like, did that really just happen? So we get out of the car and I'm looking around and I'm looking for her and I don't see her, no sign of her. So we walked in the church and now we're just like back into our human experience. Okay, where we got to go? Where's the body? What do we got to do? It took us 2 days for the two of us to talk about it. And then when we did
Mm.
talk about it, she said to me, and this is big for my sister because she's 7 years older than me. She turned to me, I had like day after, and she said, I believe that that was mom telling us that she was proud of us for the two of us going together and the fact that our dad would have never asked us to go. He wouldn't have expected us to go. And she's like, I firmly believe that was mom, like showing up to basically pat us on the back and tell us how proud she is of us that we went together.
Oh, Kimberly, thank you. Thank you for sharing that story. It's absolutely, I don't even have the words. It's breathtaking how spirit and angels come
Yeah.
to us to give us messages when either we need it or when we least expect it.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad for the both of you that you've had these beautiful encounters and that they've made such a difference to you.
Yeah.
Tell me, in terms of these experiences, how would you say that they have influenced your life?
Oh my gosh, in these past few months, it's made me so grateful because it's additional support, right? So I still have that support. It's not as if I lost that support because I'm choosing to reframe my thinking about death. I used to be terrified of death growing up. I was raised Catholic. So the whole ideology of death with Catholic Church was terrifying to me. And my dad would often say, God willing, when he went to bed. And I was like, why are you saying that? Like, I don't want you to die. Like, so I was raised thinking that I was losing something when a death occurred, which is why I was so lost when my grandmother died, because I still had that point of view that I'm losing her. I'm losing her love. I'm losing her support. Now, over the years, I'm in my late 40s now, and I'm not losing anything. If anything, I have additional love because I still have that connection to these people who mean so much to me. It looks different than how I want it to look because I want them here physically. I want to be able to hug them. I want to be able to talk to them with them in my face. And I don't get to have that attachment to how it looks. So I'm grateful that I still have that support and that love from them. So even as something as silly as one day I was waiting for a biopsy from having mammogram done. And
Mhm.
my mind was full. Like I was so anxious. I didn't know when they were going to call me. I didn't know what the results were going to be like. I'm going through what if it comes back cancer? What am I going to do? What is this going to look like? So my mind was full. And I went into the store and I wanted to get a box of tissues because, again, it was a cold day a couple of months ago. And I only got a bottle of water from the store. And I was so confused with myself because I'm like, I know I wanted to get something else. But again, my mind was so full that I was so distracted I couldn't even remember. So I got the bottle of water. I walked outside, I sat on a bench, and I'm talking to myself out loud, but I was more talking to whoever was with me because I was like, what did I want to get? I know I wanted to get something very specific, and I don't know what it was. And this is my mom's sense of humor. All of a sudden, I took a drink of the water, and water rushed out of my nostrils. And so all I could do was laugh, and I was like, "Thank you, mom. I wanted tissues. Now I remember
Yeah.
I wanted tissues." So thankfully,
Yeah.
I found tissues in my purse, and I walked back in the store, and I got the tissues. So I'm
That's
super
such
grateful because it can be silly, it can be stunning, it can throw me off guard, like I don't expect it whatsoever, and then it can give me those moments of, "Did that really just happen?" Like, that's incredible that that can happen.
yeah, absolutely. And I think you make a very relevant point. So often we are taught, whether through our parents, our family, our culture, or religion, that death is the end. There's nothing else, and it's just, they're gone. But your examples really highlight how much their presence can continue to go on. And I value that so much. Thank you for sharing that with our listeners, because it's something that is such a valuable gift. It's just up to us to start paying attention, to start listening, to start really honoring our loved ones. And I know many people out there already do that, but for those who are on the precipice, who've always been told, oh, no, 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 that can't be, I hope stories like this encourage people to take that leap of faith and to go, hey, maybe there actually is something else, and this is something that I can tune into. So thank you. Thank you so much, Kimberly.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure. Kimberly, we're almost at the finish, but I was wondering, is there something that you would like to share with our guests in terms of, do you have something where that they can get in touch with you in case people want to work with you? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do and how our guests might like to connect with you?
Yes, thank you. So folks can find me on Facebook, Kimberly Henry, and then on Instagram, the real Kimberly.Henry. And I would love, if you're open to it, Dagmar, to offer a free ebook that if they are interested, they can reach out to me on either of the socials and send me a message. And it is the 5 ways to recover from your own personal trauma. And this is for someone who, like you were just saying, maybe someone who is a little hesitant to believe that they could connect with the other side. This is for someone who is hesitant to, or they're just getting started with looking at their own trauma and healing from those aspects of like their shadow selves, their past selves, and healing that aspect of them past selves to who they're becoming. And so this book gives you some free tips on how to get started. What's the best ways to just get started so that you give yourself permission to start healing from your trauma. And then I also work with people ontological coaching. So this is a different way of looking at your life and your situations and your circumstances, to where we focus on your way of being to work through these traumas and to work through your circumstances and to really work through to who you're becoming. So you're more focused on your ways of being rather than all this other gook that's sitting there in your life, if that makes sense.
It does. Well, thank you so much. And I really do hope that some of you listening to this particular podcast find something there that can really help you. Do download Kimberly's ebook. I know it will be of great value to you. Kimberly, thank you so much for coming on to the show. Are there any last thoughts that you would like to share with us?
No, I appreciate you having me on. I was super excited when I was connecting with you because I was like, wow, I have so many to share. And I feel fortunate that I have so many to share.
Well, thank you very much for sharing. And I know that they will help someone out there who can really connect with those stories to just take that step into a new way of being. Thank you again so much. In the meantime, if you found this episode valuable, please share information about the show with 3 people who you believe would find it beneficial. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving a 5-star review on the platform where you're listening. Until the next episode, blessings, and may your life be filled with hope and inspiration.